The emanations of the aura are, such as X-rays, a physical reality. The aura proves clearly to any fine feeling the unity of the worlds and the influence of the spiritual on the physical plane. The aura is formed by purely spiritual forces, and yet it is a manifestation of the material world. Intentions and thoughts change the physical substance of the aura. So there is no impediment to move the aura out of the realm of the miraculous and the fairy tale, and to explore it with scientific methods. It consists of the colors of the subtle world. It is a usually not visible, but nonetheless noticeable part of the higher world. It is, though extremely fine, substance. To some extent, the aura is visible, in particular from the eyes of your interlocutor. You can read many things: love, hatred, fear, malice, insecurity, honesty or dishonesty, a disease, or the rays of the fire of enthusiasm. The eyes are the windows of the heart. Human radiations can be seen by the naked eye. We can cite many cases in which people emitted radiation when in a transport of exaltation. Often the hand that is writing about a lofty subject radiates a light that can be seen against a white sheet of paper. People can sometimes notice an unusual light in the eyes of one who is in a state of so-called elation. The eyes shine not from any outside source, but from an inner fire. One must be trained for this perceptive ability, for then the power of observation will develop, and many phenomena will be more frequently seen. The teacher should continue to remind the pupil about the vast numbers of natural phenomena that have remained unknown due to ignorance. One day we will be able to photograph these rays. This will be a serious blow to the hypocrites, because the film will relentlessly reveal their true nature. When it becomes possible to see the emanations of the human body, you will discern with clarity the hideousness of duplicity, when the face shows benevolence, but the thoughts are sharpening knives. Not only human beings, everything that exists has an aura. Even seemingly inanimate objects and places, because the spirit dwells in all of them. The radiation of sounds and colors, of minerals, paintings and cathedrals are not to be overlooked. They create a whole world of their own. Objects are charged by the emanations of the people who have created or used them. So you should pay attention to the manufacturer of the food that you eat, and to the manufacturer or the previous owner of the furniture with which you equip your rooms. Many objects carry upon them accumulations of influences. Not rare are the objects made in an hour of hatred, fatigue, terror, or despair. They will carry these sendings with them into the world. They will act in accordance with the message with which they have been suffused. These accumulations of thought are far more virulent than poisons. Likewise, places are saturated with the energies of the people and other creatures who inhabit them. Often the aura of places where occur irritations or creative actions is saturated with corresponding crystals. Space is saturated according to the quality of the energy. You must learn to sense. Do you step into a pure house filled with benevolence and joy? Or into an unhealthy one, where once a murder was committed, or where people lived or live in misfortune, discord, and impurity? Is it possible to keep on killing, cursing, and raging without spatial stratifications resulting? All is precipitated solidly and heavily, creating above the site of an event a shroud similar to harmful gases. Of course, the earth as a whole has an aura too, which is composed of the emanations of all that which exists on it. Man, as the being dominating the planet, exercises a particularly strong influence on the aura of the earth. One can imagine how the aura of the earth looks like today, populated by a humanity whose selfish, evil emanations far outweigh the noble ones. You can imagine what kind of destiny such an aura will attract. The centers, chakras, or fiery wheels are a vast field of knowledge which we can handle here in the simplest basic terms only. The centers are the organs of the subtle body, with whom it hears and sees and recognizes. For a Westerner, the nature of the centers is best unveiled by referring him to his heart. The physical organ pumps blood through the veins. But in addition to this, there is also a subtle organ, the seat of love and heart knowledge. Not the intellect, not the I, not our material ego loves, but the soul, with the help of the heart chakra. The most important center is the heart, of which we have already spoken in broadcasting 3. Agni Yoga is the yoga of the heart. People today must above all raise the culture of the heart in order to develop the capabilities that are essential for the new era. Expansion of consciousness, ability to distinguish, higher knowledge, capability to sense the spiritual, intangible reality, heart knowledge, intuition, communication with the upper world, and conversation with the invisible teacher. Without the development and refinement of the heart, there is no progress. The representatives of the new race will be known by the refinement of the heart, this key to all achievements. In addition, we mention 6 more main centers: the belt center, the third eye, the center of the larynx, the chalice center, the solar plexus, and Kundalini. The belt center is located on the vertex of the head. With its help, we receive the streams, thoughts, ideas, and inspirations from the higher spheres, as well as messages of the higher powers. This chakra is used for the communication with the supermundane world. The third eye is located on the forehead between the eyebrows. It is the center of higher perception, of clairvoyance, of the knowledge of future events, of seeing through solid objects. It sees the things of the spiritual world that remain hidden to the physical eye. The next chakra is the center of the larynx, which sits near the thyroid gland and contains the intellectual and analytical skills. It is the center of synthesis. It enables us to understand the true meaning of spoken words or foreign languages. The man with open centers does not judge by words. He understands all the inner meaning of speech. Of the utmost importance is the chalice center, just opposite the heart on the right-hand side of the chest. Here, all the accumulations from previous incarnations and from our lives in the higher worlds are stored. In every life, on every level, we continue to fill the chalice with new experiences. None of its contents are ever lost, because our chalice remains one and the same for our entire everlasting way. With the opening of this center, immeasurable treasures of wisdom, knowledge, and experiences can be lifted from our own interior. A genius, like Mozart, can only be explained by the skills he has accumulated in his chalice over many incarnations. Untold treasures are accumulated in the chalice. The chalice is one for all incarnations. The peculiarities of the brain are a matter of heredity, but the properties of the chalice are the result of one's own actions. There is no forgetting. Both the sinking of knowledge and its re-emergence from the chalice have good reasons. Most people hardly cope with their contemporary fate. They would not endure to learn about all the often terrible experiences they have made in previous incarnations. The solar plexus is the center that feeds the human organism with life energy. It absorbs cosmic energies and passes them on to the other centers. Finally, Kundalini is the root at the end of the spine. This is the center of willpower and self-control. It opens first and gives the impulse for the development of the other centers. With its awakening, the spiritual path begins. It is important to direct the forces emanating from Kundalini not into low physical, but into high spiritual channels. Like the subtle body as a whole, so the centers must be developed. With most people, they are still in a dormant state. The progress of mankind depends upon the opening and the transformation of the centers. The opening of the centers can only be achieved by a spiritualization and refinement of our entire being. A rough lifestyle blocks the awakening of the centers. With the appropriate spiritual development, they will open by themselves. One should not try to open the centers by mechanical or artificial methods. Also, make sure to develop not just one or two centers, but all of them equally. Because the great dangers involved, the help of a teacher is highly recommended. In general, without the help of the teacher, the correct opening of the centers is quite impossible. Of course, I mean the highest teacher, as only such a teacher is able to know the true condition of the organism in all its envelopes. Only he can regulate the blood pressure, which becomes so dangerous during the opening of the centers, to say nothing of their fiery transmutation. The opening of the centers may be accompanied by physical pain, the so-called sacred pains. Concluding this broadcasting, let us repeat the essential. Man has a spiritual being in addition to his material nature. This, his eternal individuality, must be nourished, maintained, cleaned, healed, trained, and strengthened in the same way as the physical body. Our future does not lie in the yet further perfection of the physical body. It lies in the growth of our spiritual being, in the development of our spiritual skills.